Okay, so with me here is Sensei Donna Blake again, and this video is a response to Dan's video in which he talked about the need for timing between hands and feet. So if I get Sensei Donna just to face me in fighting stance, now what she's going to do is she's going to lunge with her front foot and she's going to time it so that her front hand lands slightly ahead of her front foot. Like that, so it's an oizuki or a jab, and the idea of the idea of this is that the momentum of your stance is going forward, so you need that momentum. If you go forwards, land and then hit, or you go forwards, land and then hit, the forwards momentum goes into the floor, and then it's just the power of your hips and your hand. So just re-explaining, Dan, you'll forgive me because you explained it very well in your video that I'll link to, but just re-explain it for my audience. So the objective here is to push forwards and land with the hand ahead of the, with or slightly ahead of the foot. So to exaggerate, okay? So obviously, yeah, now, a couple of points that Dan didn't mention is that in order to drive forwards purposefully, you need to have your stance relatively low, because these muscles here, if you drive from here, you've got two options that you can flop forwards, so the arc of your movement will be here, so just kind of flop. There, see the momentum is going downwards, which is, even if you get the hand to land first, your momentum is going downwards. The other possibility is that you can't move explosively forwards at all, because your muscles are pointing upwards, and before you can move forward, you need to either lower yourself and drive forwards. So now these pistons, if you like, the pistons facing the direction it's going to work. This action here, this plantar flexion, the bending of the ankle is ready to drive Donna purposefully forward. Okay, now if we'll just do a front foot lunge and do a double foot shuffle with that. So, in conjunction with the fact that she wants to land this hand before this foot so that her momentum is projected into the target, she also wants to make sure that she generates forwards momentum in the first place, because if she just flops forwards, she doesn't have that forwards momentum. So she's going to land, she's going to punch this hand in ahead of her foot, like that. When the exercise becomes really challenging is when she uses the reverse hand. So this is where even quite experienced karateka have problems with the gyakuzuki. So step forwards with this. Are you going to, no, because I want to see that. Okay. So I'm being mentored on here because this is her worst side and she's got a bad ankle. But what she's going to do is she's going to do the same exercise. She's going to lunge with the other foot. I'll turn face this way. Okay. She's going to lunge with this foot, but she's going to punch with this hand. And what that forces her to do, first of all, if you just give it a try. So that was pretty good. You'll agree the hand landed slightly before the foot. Now this is her biggest punch. This is her reverse punch. What that forces her to do is to engage the hips en route, and that's why it's so much harder, because she needs to move the hips quickly as a power source for the punch. Now, the reason that this is a challenge is because a lot of us use our hips in isolation in drills, but we don't use them in stepping exercises. Okay, so she's going to really have to use her hips in a way that she probably isn't used to using. So stepping forwards again. Good. Again. Okay, get that punch working faster. Okay, now I just have one thought for you here. Apart from the fact that one good way to get that is to lift the heel off the floor so that she glides forwards and keep the central gravity low, I have a game for you which is a really excellent game to help develop the hip speed. So all you do is you just hold the mitt in front, and then start off fairly kind. She must use her reverse hand, not her front hand, because her front hand looks just a little jab, it's easy, okay? She has to use her reverse hand, and that will force her to improve her hip speed. So if I drop this here, okay, that was quite easy because I started high and I started quite close to her. Now, as she gets good at that, I'm going to move this further away, and I'm going to, maybe if she gets really good, I'll start lower, but I'll start quite high for now. So she's going to have to lunge, she's going to have to turn her hips in, she's going to have to move her fist quickly, and also, it's also good for developing her peripheral vision, because she's not going to look up at the target, she needs to be focused ahead, and she's just going to be aware of the mitt in the peripheral sight. So, you're trying to anticipate. Don't anticipate release, react to it. So it's a reaction drill as well as it is a hit drill. So here. So, the better she gets, the further I move it until she gets to a point where... So, I would say that if I drop it here and she hits every single one, then I move it here. And I want to move it to the point where she misses about 50%. Because when she's missing 50%, that means that she's working hard to get the target. So I reckon about here is going to cause a challenge, and when I'm ready, I'll release it. Don't anticipate, react. Okay, that was pretty good. I reckon if I just continued there, that she would get about 50% of those and do one more. Move it a bit further forward. There you go, that was a little bit challenging. In fact, that was so far that she couldn't lunge far enough without breaking her posture, so that was probably a bit too far. So she wants to go the maximum distance that she can get her maximum lunge without breaking her posture, without having to bend her back. You see this with kids all the time, where they'll be fighting each other and they'll be reaching to try and get a retreating target, and then they'll break their posture. So you don't want to have that. So just a thought on that exercise, guys. A really excellent area for study, opened up by Dan, I believe Dan Djurdjevic. You'll forgive me if I've got your name wrong, Dan. And I just wanted to add one or two things to it which might expand even upon what you said. So thank you very much, Sensei Dan. Thank you very much, Sensei Donna. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please take the time to rate and comment, and it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe. Thank you.